Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning and welcome to the Senior Moment Show. My name is Bruce Lee and I am flying solo today. My co-host Sid Roeder unfortunately is a little under the weather, so she's not with me here today. But we are on the air today and I have one of my very favorite guests with us today. It's Tracy Ferris from Blue Water Health Insurance, which is her very own company. Thanks for coming in today. We're going to talk about Medicare stuff, among other things. But before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of companies and people who help sponsor this show and do it so that we can bring you information that's hopefully educational in nature and let you know what resources are out there available to you in a way that you can make your own decisions on what you want to do and not feel solicited by it, which is what we're going to be doing today. So we appreciate that group. If you'd like to learn more about the group, you can check us out at empoweringseniors.info on the internet, or you can, if you want to contact us, send us an email at empoweringseniorcv@gmail.com. CV is for Cache Valley. Or you can call my good friend Sid at her personal phone number, which is 435-512-6406, and give us some feedback on what you think about our show, or if there's a topic you'd like us to cover, or just a nice conversation. All those things would be good. Anyway, thank you to Tracy Ferris from Blue Water Health Insurance for coming in today.
You are welcome.
So glad to have you. As I mentioned, she's the owner there. And let's reintroduce ourselves to Tracy. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you've become involved in this area, and maybe, where are you from, what brought you here?
Yeah, that is something we have not talked about before.
We have not talked about that, no.
So I have been in the business for 13 years. Prior to living in the beautiful Cache Valley area, we lived in Boise, Idaho. I do love Boise very, very much. I am a Bronco, a graduate of Boise State, but nobody holds that against me.
Not true.
Anyway, when we moved here, things were transitioning. My kids were, growing up, and I was looking for a career. And there was a lot about insurance that really spoke to me. I love being able to help make sense out of a complicated topic and, simplifying it for people. So I really, really love what I do.
It's probably even a complicated, not fun topic, really, for most people when they're trying to deal with it.
I think you're right, and it can be really, really frustrating. One of the things we've talked about on this program before is health insurance is a reason that people don't retire because they're so worried about the cost and the premium and, all of those things that it really becomes so complicated in that decision-making process. But once they meet with someone like me, it's just been so fun to hear people say, okay, we can do it. Like, that's going to be great. That's a great price. We can afford that. We're going to retire and start living our life that we wanted to. And that is really fulfilling.
Yeah, that really can take a load off. And that really is a big consideration for people. We're even going through that right now ourselves. And so trying to figure that all out is challenging. But tell us about your kind of whole offering. Because we'll talk about Medicare today, but there's more to what you do than just that. What does Blue Water Health Insurance do total?
Yeah, so we do individual insurance, which that just couples so nicely with Medicare, which is another thing we do is Medicare, obviously. But like I was just mentioning, if somebody is getting ready to retire, maybe one of the spouses will be turning 65 pretty soon and they move to Medicare. But what do they do with the other spouse that's not yet there? The nice thing about us is they can come to us and we can help both scenarios and give really good advice on what we think, would be helpful to them to know as they make that decision. The other thing that I do is small group health insurance. I love that. And I feel like where I really shine in this department is sometimes because of the Affordable Care Act. sometimes it doesn't make sense for a small employer to offer health insurance, and I love having that really honest conversation with that person, just to say, hey, if you offer this to your employees, I get that you want to do it as a benefit, and that's really admirable and really awesome, but it's actually going to hurt your clients, or sorry, your employees if you do that. So let's consider some alternatives,
Yeah, and when you say small group, what does that size look like?
Yeah, I mean, it's under 50 full-time employees that would, be taking the insurance. So really my groups, I think my biggest group maybe has 18 employees, so they're quite small.
I want to bring this up because I think this is a really important point, and we're going to kind of go off a little bit here for a second. But if you work for a company and you're, let's say, part-time, or maybe you're full-time and that company does not offer benefits, you do not need to not have benefits. As a matter of fact, most companies, when they do offer a benefit, there's some type of a copay that you have to make. And a lot of times those copays can be more expensive than it would be if the company doesn't offer a benefit and they came to talk to you. You could probably get them insurance for less. Would that be accurate?
That would be very accurate, yes. Most oftentimes, the Affordable Care Act can provide insurance for people at a much cheaper rate than a group plan would be. And that's why I say, I always respect and appreciate that employer who, wants to do the right thing for his or her employees. And, it's just like, I really respect that. But there's other places that we can do benefits that doesn't end up costing your employees more money.
So for our listeners then, whether it's for them or maybe they have a child or a grandchild, and let's say they have a grandson who works on a farm and is doing farm work, but there's no benefits, that person could go pick up insurance and probably pay much, much less than they would expect, maybe under $100 a month, or maybe even under $50 a month for a premium, and have full health insurance. Yes, you are spot on, Bruce. I'm spot on. Once every generation.
Yes.
Okay, well, if you just heard that, you thought, gosh, I know somebody who that might affect. We are coming up on our first break here in just a minute, but what is the best way to contact you to talk to? They would call you directly, right?
They would. I do have an assistant, but most of the time I will field the calls. She's kind of behind the scenes, helping administratively. But I do try to take the calls as much as possible. So my phone number is 435-294-2161.
Okay, and we'll get that a couple more times before the show is over. So if you didn't get that this time, we'll do it a few more times so that you can pick it up. We are about to take a break here in just a second. When we come back, we'll be talking more about open enrollment, which is Medicare, but it's also other open enrollment as well. This is the Senior Moment Show. We will take a short break and be back in just a minute.
This is Brian Erickson for the Sunshine Minute. Each day, our nurses, CNAs, cooks and servers, housekeepers, laundry staff, music, recreation therapy teams, office staff, receptionists, and many more arrive around the clock. These heroes show up ready and willing to serve and protect our residents and clients. We are so grateful to our dedicated team. On behalf of the Board of Sunshine Terrace Foundation and our community, thank you to all of our employees for keeping us safe. We bring more to life together.
Did you know 10,000 baby boomers qualify for Medicare every day? Did you know that you'll start to get swamped with mail about Medicare 6 months before your 65th birthday? Did you also know it doesn't cost anything to use an insurance agent to help you navigate through all those offers? Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance. Let me help you understand all the offers you're receiving and find the plan that fits best for your situation. Call me today at 435-890-8155.
You have a lot of options when it comes to buying or selling a home. Do you list it online, sell it yourself, or do you have a realtor help? It's a major financial and emotional decision. A realtor is the liaison between buyers and sellers and really helps you navigate complex contracts, deadlines, and disclosures.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty.
I work for you to get the best outcome for your situation. Let me earn your trust with a free consultation and a free market analysis. Call me today at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
It's tough knowing how to care for an aging parent. Mom has always been there for me, but now I need to be there for her. When we found out she needed surgery, I wondered how I could attend to her needs and still be mom to my kids. I was so relieved to learn about transitional rehab at Maple Springs in North Logan. From the nurses to the physical therapists, it was like their whole staff was focused on helping Mom get better. Maple Springs in North Logan was an answer to my prayers.
Learn more at maplespringsnorthlogan.com or call 753-9400.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're just joining us today, we are speaking with Tracy Ferris. She's the owner of Blue Water Health Insurance. Before we went to break, we were talking about how you can generally access health insurance. And so really part of what you do, Tracy, is really anybody who may have need for health insurance. So if there's somebody out there, they don't have health insurance, they don't have to be a senior, you can help them get that, and you can probably help them get that at a really reasonable rate.
That is correct.
Okay, so we'll circle back to that here in a bit, and we'll get the contact information here in a little bit. But also, there's something important that's happening very soon.
Yes, Medicare open enrollment will begin October 1st. That's when we can start contacting our existing clients, but we can't actually have appointments with them until October 15th. So officially, it's October 15th. It goes to December 7th. And during that time, we'll just jump into what they can and can't do during that time. It's always a good time to review your plans, the policy that you have. You would want to review your medications to make sure that it makes sense where you're at, for next year. If your doctors have changed, you're going to want to make sure that we've got you on the plan that covers all of your doctors. If you've moved geographically, not too far, but you've moved, we might want to reevaluate it there as well. There's just many, many reasons why we should always, always, always look at the plan each year, just to make sure that it's fitting your needs for the following year.
So I'm going to twist that just a little bit and ask, is there a reason to not look at the plan? So is there anything that's static about the way that the Medicare insurance plans work to where my plan last year, I just don't need to look at it, it's probably fine, and really the period is maybe 2 or 3 years before I look at it?
Well, I think maybe the danger in that would be, all things being equal, there are always new benefits coming out. And if you don't actually meet with your agent and you're like, I just want to keep it status quo, I don't have time or whatever, that's totally fine. But, what if your plan offers a dental benefit now that it didn't before, and it doesn't cost anything more, so you miss it because you didn't know, because nothing really changed. And you had $2,000 in dental benefits that you didn't even know you had, and you had to go in and get a root canal, and you paid out of pocket for it, when really it could have been covered.
Just because you didn't know.
Just because you didn't know. So there are changes in your benefits. They are sent those things in the mail, but we all know how that is.
It's like the disclaimer at the end of software when you ask you if you're going to accept it. Are you going to read that?
Right.
And
And people just don't. And I understand that.
Yeah.
I am as guilty as the next person.
So if I'm a person and I've never used an agent, so maybe I have Medicare, I picked it up because I saw a trusted celebrity on TV or something like
Yes.
that. Seems like there's a couple of those out there.
Yes, there are.
And so I called that company, whatever, and I've got my Medicare insurance, and everything seems to be fine. Can I talk to somebody like you? And if I did talk to somebody like you, do I have to make any changes? How should I feel about making that phone call if I wanted to just check on it?
Yeah.
But I don't really want to go with you, Tracy, because I have a plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I am happy to do that. I know that there's probably some agents out there that would not want to waste their time because they could potentially not get paid anything for that time. But I am very happy to do that because first and foremost, I feel like my job is to educate people and make sure that they are where they need to be. For the most part, with the exception of one company that I can't mention by name, but for the most part, we could do a agent of record change that would assign me as their agent. And the great thing about that is if they have a problem, they're calling me, not that 1-800 number, and being on hold for 45 minutes, only to be told really confusing information, like things like that just nobody has time for and they don't want to do it. And that's what I do.
That is the worst, getting on hold and being pushed around. And especially if you have problems hearing or something like that, it makes it even worse. And I know you're not trying to get everybody to switch their local agents to change over to you or anything like that. But if you really are out there and you don't have anybody that's helping you, probably the fear that people think about would be, sounds great, but if I go talk to Tracy, my insurance premium is going to go up, or, I'm going to experience some other cost, or I have to pay her in some way. How should I feel about that?
Yeah, and I always appreciate this question, but the reality is it does not cost people any more money to use an agent. The price is the price. We get paid by the insurance company. So even if they just wanted to come in and do a consultation and didn't switch to me, that's totally fine. I'm not going to charge them anything, and they're not going to pay anything additional out of their pocket for that.
So I haven't asked you this before, but I'm just curious now. I don't know if you know the answer, but when I see an ad on TV and there's somebody that's soliciting Medicare, someone's getting paid, right? I mean, there's somebody someplace that they're having that advertisement because the insurance company is going to pay that group to give that information. Is that how that works? Yeah, and the frustrating thing about that is it's somebody, who knows where, and those commercials will come on and they'll promise all kinds of benefits, and then there's this small disclaimer that says, this benefit might be available depending on your zip code. Well, that zip code, most oftentimes those big, great things that they're promising don't exist in your zip code. But what's happened is you've made that call, and now it's hard to get off the phone with them. Yeah, okay. So I think this is a good point to come back then, and let's get that phone number again, because if you're listening and feel like, maybe I should take a look at this, what's the number? And I guess also, what's your availability to meet with people? When do you do it, and how long does it take? Yeah. My phone number is 435-294-2161. And as far as availability, it will start getting pretty hairy here in the next couple of weeks, but we work long hours during open enrollment. That's just the way that it is. So I can accommodate a lot. Do people need to bring up information with them? What does a visit typically look like? Yeah, if they were coming in to see me for the first time and they have Medicare already, I would want to know what plan they were on, so their health insurance card. And then we have to have their red, white, and blue Medicare card. Just because if they did want to make a change, I have to know that number in order to put it on the application. So you might be able to take their existing plan and make a few changes for them, and they could keep their existing plan, or would you have to replace it? We could do both of those. If it was their existing plan, I can't change the benefits of it, but we could assign them to me as the agent. Otherwise, we would rewrite the policy. Okay, great. Well, we need to take another quick break. We're going to pop out and be back and talk more with Tracy about insurance.
Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram offers free delivery service 5 days a week, Monday through Friday throughout the valley. Just stay home and they will deliver to you. With 25 different suppliers, they won't have the shortage that others might have. Also, with compounding and many other services, they will be able to serve all your needs. In order to stay safe and help slow the spread, please call Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram at 245-DRUG, and they will take care of you.
Did you know 1 in 3 people will visit a nursing home? Did you know that once there, they will stay there for an average of 3 years? Did you also know there are insurance options that can help cover this experience? Hi, I'm Tracy Ferris with Blue Water Health Insurance. It's not cheap to stay in a full-fledged nursing home. Long-term care insurance can help you or a loved one get the care they need and deserve. If you wait until you need it, you may be too late. Give me a call at 435-890-8155.
Hi, this is Bruce with Comfort Care. One of the ways we help loved ones stay in their home is by assisting with daily tasks. These may include bathing, meal preparation, medication reminders, and housekeeping. We even help with shopping, transportation, and errands. Most of all, we offer a trusted level of care. Let us help you live your best life possible with Comfort Care. This is Bruce, and you can call me at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
This is Mark Thurston with White Pine Funeral Services. The best time to plan is when you have time to plan. Having a pre-arranged funeral gives peace of mind for everyone involved. White Pine will customize your final wishes to fit your needs, from a traditional burial to cremation to a custom headstone. White Pine also accepts pre-arranged plans from other mortuaries, and we will absorb any transfer or revocation fees. No penalty to you. Visit whitepinefunerals.com or come and see us for more information.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're joining us just now, we're talking with Tracy Ferris, who's the owner of Blue Water Health Insurance, which is in Logan, because I didn't ask you where your office is. Where is it?
Yeah, it's 74 West, 100 North in Logan.
And which is next to what?
Petals and Promises is right next door. The actual building that I'm in is a Farm Bureau building. Mm-hmm. I have an office in that building.
Is there a sign outside, or would they come in and go to the Farm Bureau building and ask for you?
Yeah, there's not a sign outside. They just come in and they'll escort them back to my office.
Okay. And is it okay for people to pop in, or is it best to make an appointment?
During open enrollment, it will be best to make an appointment.
Gotcha. And let's just do that number right now since we're talking about it.
It's 435-294-2161.
Okay, great. All right. Well, we've been talking about Medicare, but again, we've also talked about just the general population that's out there, and open enrollment applies to them as well, correct?
It does. It has a little bit different date to it. It starts November 1st and actually goes until January 15th.
Okay. And so who should be thinking about something like that? Who's an appropriate candidate to talk to you about that?
Yeah. So, we talked earlier about those Medicare clients who one of them is on Medicare, the other is still on an individual plan. We would meet with both of them during this open enrollment period. Specifically, though, it would be people with individual insurance during that time. So if they don't have a policy through their work, they have a policy either with me or they want to do a policy with me. November 1st to January 15th would be.
So anybody who happens to fall in that category, to where maybe the spouse is retired and is a little older, maybe they don't have insurance, or I guess maybe paying COBRA payments or something like that?
Yeah, COBRA payments are always expensive.
They're really expensive.
Yeah, so if you're paying COBRA, you should at least call me to see if we can do better, and there's about a 99% chance that we can.
99%?
Yeah,
that's a bold statement to make on the air.
I know. I'm going to stand by it.
Okay. Yeah, well, based on what I know about COBRA payments, I'm going to believe you because,
yes.
Let's just real quick, because we've talked about this, income thresholds that help people qualify for some of these discounted plans. They're higher than you might think. About how much can a household make where they can still get a benefit from a discounted premium?
Yeah. So that legislation changed a couple of years ago with COVID. To, just give relief. It was the American Relief Act, something like that. Don't quote me on that. I'm terrible with the acts. But it was put in place to, help people save money during a hard time. But last year, it was signed back into law for another 3 years. So for a family of 4, I mean, they could easily make $100,000 and still qualify.
For a family of 4, what if it's a retired couple?
If it was a family of 2, still that threshold would still qualify them as well.
As for some discount. And so if I guess if somebody happens to fall into that category, they don't have to disqualify themselves because that is actually a decent income to make. And when people think of income qualified, they're probably not thinking that, well, I can make $100,000 a year and still get something like this.
That's correct. And you're right, Bruce. I mean, most people that are retired aren't pulling in that kind of money. So almost all of my retired clients, with one of them being on Medicare and one being on individual insurance, qualify for a hugely discounted price.
And just to be clear, too, because I think maybe this sometimes gets confused as well, income versus bank account. It doesn't matter how much money is in the bank account. Correct. And so they could have a substantial investment portfolio or something like that. But if their income at that time in retirement is less than $100,000, they're going to benefit from this.
Yeah. So the number that we care about is what they're going to report on taxes. And it is a self-reporting. I'm going to ask you, how much will your annual income be for 2024? And so I know a lot, there is a little bit of guessing with that, but we can adjust income many times throughout the year. So if they tell me one number and they're like, oh man, we missed it by a little bit, easy for me to go in and make that adjustment.
Right.
On it.
And they may check. I mean, and so the insurance company might come back and verify. I think you mentioned that, especially with retired people that are entering retirement, where their income was high, maybe it drops right when they go to retirement, so they might report something lower. That's correct. And if the insurance company sees some type of an anomaly, they may ask about it.
Yeah, they're kind of looking at it saying, this seems like a little bit of a discrepancy. Please provide documentation, and it's a very normal thing, nothing to be worried about. And I try to explain that to my clients. But yeah, that would be a really good reason as to why we would need to provide that.
Okay, we got about a minute left. When someone comes in to visit with you, about how long do you think they're going to be with you? What should they plan for?
If they're an existing client, 30 minutes. If they're not, and we kind of need to do some exploring, probably an hour.
So 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And are you open 5 days a week?
Yes, open enrollment tends to be a little longer, but...
What do your hours look like?
Well...
3 a.m. to 3 a.m.?
Yes, it will look something like that. If you want to do a 4 a.m. appointment, I'm happy to accommodate it.
All right, that phone number quickly before we run out of time.
435-294-2161.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Thanks for being on our show today.
You bet.
This has been the Senior Moment Show. We will return next week with another great topic. Look forward to seeing you then.